Let's... Okay. Hey, and welcome to Tabletop Magi. Of course, I'm your host, MacLeod. And today we got a few things we're going to be talking about. I'm going to give a review for Z Nation, so stick around for that. But first, I'd like to go ahead and I'd like to talk about a little bit of news for today. First off, last Wednesday, we didn't really do anything at Elmer's. I talked to Nick, and we haven't... Nothing's come together yet. So, keep an eye out if you're from Decatur and you're watching this for that. That will happen eventually. Talk about last Saturday. Last Saturday was the first ever double feature for the Drunken Zombie for here in Decatur. We had one person show up. So we went ahead and we showed the clips. It was good. It was good for us to do it, just to get it out of the way, see what we need to worry about. Just good practice, essentially. The next one will be at February 20th. It'll be a Friday. We're going to be doing these things on Friday instead of Saturday, because we had a bunch of people coming in and asking, well, why isn't there a band in here today? And, you know, Noah's brother was talking about how that's a big live band day for them. And so we're probably going to have to... We're not... As far as I know, we're not paying, so we're going to end up getting moved around however they decide they want us to move around to fit their schedule. So that's going to become a real hassle in the future if we don't sit down and talk about it. But it hasn't happened yet, so we'll see what happens. Let's see here. Oh, let me show you the new poster. And that's the poster for the next coming up month for the double feature. So I do hope to see you out there. And remember, it's $5 cash only at the door. Hope to see you then. Let's see. The next thing I'd like to do, I'm going to try out a new segment. See how it works. We may see it more in the future, we may not. But I don't really have a title for it right now. But essentially what I'd like to do is I'd like to talk about manners. Now, I went out, I found a list, and that list is, there's like 30 manners things, just little quips. And I picked one, and the one I picked today, it says, do not comment on another person's physical characteristics, unless, of course, it's to compliment them, which is always welcome. I picked this one because, you know, I drive a school bus, and I have a lot of kids that, when we're parked waiting for the teachers to let them go from the bus to the school, there's a lot of kids that will stand at the front, and they'll watch all the other kids going by and make snide comments, and it just bugs the shit out of me. So let's try to, you know, it's just that one of those things. Growing up, I was always told, you know, be nice, you know, mind your manners, don't say that unless you would say it to your grandma, that sort of stuff. And it's stuck with me for a better portion of it. Part of the reason why there was so much disgust in my voice when I was talking about the Atomicast guys and the keylogger. But I will digress. So it's one of those things where it really is just good sense. Just to, you know, if you don't have anything to say, that's nice. Don't say it. It's that simple. And usually it helps people all over the board. I mean, usually this is just good sense to help people, and, you know, and help yourself, and don't tear people down. The moral of the story is don't be an asshole. What's next? Let's go ahead and go into the Z Nation review. let's go ahead and we're going to talk about Z Nation. Need a better webcam. Ah! Let's talk about Z Nation. It just dropped on Netflix probably 2 weeks ago. I went ahead and I watched it this week, and I have to say, for it being a cheap thrill sci-fi show, it's pretty good. That being said, let me see. Let me pull up my notes real fast. Don't mind my eyes. I know they're going all over the place. Woo! Okay, so we'll start off. It's Brian's gonna hate me about this, but it's made by the Asylum, and he has a hatred for the Asylum, which knows no depth. But I liked it. I liked the show. It was cheesy. It's campy. It revels in that. There were scenes where they were running around and they were glowing radioactive zombies. They ran into a situation where there was a group of people that were cannibals. This is all spoilers alert, by the way. Spoilers! But it's a good time. It doesn't take itself too seriously, which means there's a lot of humor. A lot of the actors in it I think, do a really wonderful job. The ending, I watched season 1 finale ending, is kind of weird. It's a little different. It's it changes everything what you should expect in season 2, which there is going to be a season 2. I already checked. Apparently the back end popularity has been so much that it's just pushed it right to the forefront, beginning of season 2. So that there's news, although I'll have to wait for that to come out. Talking of sci-fi news, I don't know if any of you have watched or started watching. I believe season 2 of Helix has come out. I do recommend season 1 at the very least. I'll probably be trying to go through and watch season 2. That's really all I have to say about that. So let's get into some tabletop news. I went through and I've scoured the internet for everything that I could come up with, at least in 30 minutes today. And what I found was, and these are kind of linked, at least in what they have to deal with, is, of course, everyone has said, or people have said, that we're going through a bit of a renaissance for tabletop gaming, which is true. 5th Ed has dropped officially, and it's doing really well. And then other games on Kickstarter and things. White Wolf is putting a lot of their 20th anniversary books, and they're going to be the big fancy volumes. Those are going out on Kickstarter, and those are doing really well. I would love to have a mage one. But, so, 2 things that I find to be really interesting is I found 2 things that are sound related for tabletop games. The first one I found, which is called Darkraven Soundscape, and essentially what has happened is somebody has gone out and they've successfully done multiple Kickstarters, and they've done albums with 8 different songs. And what they are, they're essentially, it's sort of like Nox Arcana or Midnight Syndicate, and they're just themed music for fantasy, for science fiction, horror themes, and it's for tabletop gaming, and I'm sure you can use it for a myriad of other reasons, but there's a big push, there's a big push from tabletopping with it. Now you can find that, and I'll make sure to put a link down here for the Kickstarter. There is exactly 10 days left on the new one, the Redux, which is putting out 3, I think it's Fantasy, Horror, and Kingdom of the Elves. Yes, and they're putting out those 3 subsets with this particular Kickstarter campaign. It's only $12,000, which isn't actually a lot. But the video that I watched talked about how they went out and they found someone that can do large orchestral sound scores inside of the studio with just a guy on a computer. And I listened to some of it, and it was really good. Like I said, it was kind of reminiscent of Nox Arcana, a little bit like Midnight Syndicate. If any DM that has tried using music for their games, they will realize they'll recognize those names, and they'll realize that it's a good thing. You want more support there, because listening to the same stuff over and over again, I mean, even with Nox Arcana's large archive, is kind of, it'll get a little redundant depending on the feeling. We can go, brings me to the next point. I also found something called Syrincapes. It's done by a guy out of Australia, I believe. His name is Benjamin Looms. And what he's done is he's created an app, and it is for DMs who want to interject music and sound effects into their games. And it's very streamlined, and it does come with its own subsets of music. I think you get 2 or 3 with the free download. They're doing beta test right now, and then they're looking at doing $3 or $4 for a different subset with different music. And then, of course, you can go through and you can set up your own music and your own sound effects to use. And anyone that tries doing sound effects at the very least for a game realizes that unless you go through and set up something with a lot of hotkeys and you know exactly where the mapping is, it gets difficult. And so doing an app like this, being able to scroll through and have everything right there, it's going to be a boon for all DMs that want to interject something that'll create more of an ambience for their game. I know I like to do that. I find it to be helpful. I've had players comment of how they've enjoyed things like that before. Of course, another cheap trick to do is lighting, but it's really useful. The third thing for news that I'd like to bring up is if you haven't seen this yet, you should really go watch it. It's put out by Good Cop, Great Cop, which is a group on YouTube, and what it is, it's called Heroes. It's right here. I'll put up a clip here, but it's a short video, and it's about DMs and how well they could have NPCs. I've had NPCs in the past before. I had one where one of my original NPCs was some woman in a spring or well, and very, very Harryhausen-esque. But essentially, she was she helped them when they got lost. They didn't know what to do. She gave them plot points or whatever. And I would talk in a large voice like this, and I would do a curly voice, and oh lordy. But the point was, it's an NPC, and they would make jokes about it, and they would scoff it, and they would be like, well, I guess we have to go see. I think I call her Stephanie, which is the biggest running gag, because they all had these ridiculous fantasy names. And they're like, well, let's go see Stephanie. And so NPCs can be a really big boon to you, especially depending on how you use them. Of course, I've talked about them before on Gen 1 of the videos. And so what the video does here is it just shows you how important certain videos and how in-depth you could do NPCs and how much they could affect everyone. This is taken a little bit to the extreme, but it's still enjoyable to watch, and I recommend everyone to watch it. I'll make sure to put a link down here below, but it's wonderful. Let's see, what's next? Let's go to a commercial!
Aliens!
Yo, Hicks! Something big is in the air!
It's the alien flying queen! And her gruesome gorillas! Send in the ultimate space marine, Atax, disguised in his big, bad bug suit!
He sneaks in and takes him out!
But the flying queen unmasks him! Send in Hicks and the heavily armored evac fighter!
Send in the Marines!
Blast them!
Yeah!
And bottle them! And it's bye-bye bug, each sold separately!
Aliens!
He's dead! He's a mobilizer, got a mega core, magnetizer, rocket boosted power pack. He's a Lego maniac, got a radical shield protector on his awesome vector detector. He's spaced out, that's a fact. He's a Lego maniac. He's the galactic equalizer in his particle ionizer. 3 cool sets, he's totally whacked. He's a Lego maniac.
Lego M-Tron Collection. Each set sold separately from Lego.
Mighty Max, Mighty Max! It's Mighty Max!
Welcome to Skull Dungeon.
Wow!
Mighty Max!
Smasher, get up! Your brain donor is here. Me want brain. No way, slime face. Whoa! Watch out for that first step. It's not over, Mighty Max.
Will Max get fried? His fate is in your hands.
Mighty Max, Mighty Max.
You can collect all his adventure sets, each sold separately. Mighty Max figure included from Mattel.
This is the future. The world as we know it is gone. Scarred by endless wars, humanity struggles to survive in the ruins of the old world. This is the future. This is the year 1997.
Okay, so what we just watched was the trailer for Turbo Kid, which apparently is getting all kinds of rave reviews from Canada. I randomly came across it today and saw the trailer, and I thought this looked amazing. Of course, anything that has to do with the 90s I'm all about, because let's face it, that's basically the fad, the nostalgia fad that's going to hit, and that's kind of the theme of the show anyway. Unofficial theme of the show. But launching launching saw blades out of the arm is so freaking sweet. And apparently it is from Canada. It is a full-length feature, and apparently it has more childish themes, but it's chock full of gore. And if we've learned anything, gore from Canada is good. In case you haven't seen it, you should go, oh my god, I hate this webcam. In case you haven't seen it, you should go and watch Todd the Book of Pure Evil. There's 2 seasons. They were on Netflix. They may not be on Netflix anymore. But if you can find the original Canadian airings, they are so hilarious. If you like metal, if you like horror movies, go watch it right now. I mean, I'm serious. Go watch it. It's hilarious. But let's see here. Turbo Kid. It's set in the post-apocalyptic year of 1997. And it's... Well, you watched the trailer. It's great. So you should definitely go watch it. And let's see. What else do I need to do today? Oh, okay. That brings me up to Scramble Cable Theater. Today, well, let me get started by saying I got an email, and it gave me the title of what was released. And the title is called Mummified MoFo. When I saw the title, I got really excited. From what I understand, apparently this was a submission they sent into the ABCs of Death 2. As we know, because of World of Death, there are a lot of people that got rejected that decided to do their own thing with Tony. Thank you, Tony. Golf clap. So, I got this, and I saw it, and this is right up everyone's alley. I watched the trailer. It's 3 minutes long. Well, I watched the short. It's 3 minutes long. It is hilarious. It's hilarious. There's a little bit of a gore effect, which is nice. Nice touch. It's simple, basic, but it is outstanding and everything that I hoped it would be and more. And it's by a YouTuber that you can find called SonofVoorhees. I hope in the future to get more of his stuff to feature, and if I can have him on the show, I'm always willing to have independent filmmakers on the show. God damn it! So let's just go ahead and get into the clip, and we'll be right back.
on now, bitch! Mummified motherfucker!
So that was so good watching it the second time. Oh my goodness. Like I said, it's everything I hope. So that was good going in the second time. Like I said, it's everything that I hoped it would be and more. And oh my god. Let's just go ahead and give some love to the sponsors. I'd like to thank Jack Prince. They picked up the DZ this year for like 6 months, and they're sponsoring us, which is always nice. If you'd like, you can go into jackprince.inc/zombie, and what they're doing is they're running a deal where you can get 100 black shirts with white lettering or a logo for $3.99 each shirt, up to 100. So I'm going to throw the tag that El Goro did at the end of the episode, but you guys should definitely go check them out. Obviously, the thing to do is merchandise. If anything Lucas taught us, it's merchandise. So, check them out. If you have a need for 100 shirts to sell to get your product out there, get your name out there, I recommend it. It's a great deal. I trust everything that El Goro has looked at and pretty much everyone else from the DZ, because they've all talked about how this is a great deal. So you should probably go and check it out, and if you need shirts, you should probably buy them. Other than that, I'll see you next week. Have fun rolling dice.
This episode is sponsored by Jack Prince. You can get 100 black t-shirts with your custom logo in white ink for $3.99 a shirt. Just go to jack.inc/zombie. That's JAK.INK/zombie.